video, the content that we will be discussed is about first, what is OSHA Act 1994 in Malaysia, main objective of OSHA 1994, roles of OSH legal requirement in business management, and the salient features about the OSH Act in Malaysia 1994.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day to my fellow friend. Today our discussion is about the Occupational Safety and Health Act OSHA 1994. My name is Nushaira binti Rahman, and this is my friend.
My name is Nur Adibadallah binti Hamzah.
And my name is Nur Shaniza Izwani binti Syafdin.
Okay, let's start our discussion. Okay, Dalila, for your opinion, what are OSHA legal requirements in business management?
OSH stands for Occupational Safety and Health. OSH is responsible for ensuring safety and health at the workplace, lies with those who create that risk or those who work with the risk. The purpose of the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 is to promote and encourage occupational safety and health awareness among workers and create organization and effective safety and health measures.
Okay, Syaira, what about the OSH Act 1994 in Malaysia?
OSHA in Malaysia is an act that provides the legislative framework to secure the safety, health and welfare among the Malaysian workforce and protect others against risk to safety or health in connection with person's activity at work. It gazetted on 24th February 1994. There are many industries applied OSH Act 1994, such as manufacturing, mining and quarrying, construction, agriculture, forestry and fishing, utilities such as electricity, gas, water, sanitary and service, transport, storage and communication, wholesale and retail trade, hotel and restaurant, finance, insurance, real estate and business service, and lastly is public service and statutory authorities.
Wow, interesting. Is there any industry that do not contribute with OSHA Act 1994 in Malaysia?
Yes, some industry do not contribute with OSHA Act 1994. First, it is not capable to work on board ship governed by the Merchant Shipping Ordinance 1952, the Merchant Shipping Ordinance 1960 of Sabah and Sarawak. Then, it's not capable to armed force. Shamiza, can I know what objective of OSHA 1994 are?
Okay, sure, Syaira. The main objective of OSHA 1994 secure the safety, health and welfare of person at work against risk to safety or health arising out of the activity of person at work. Then protect the person at the workplace other than person at work against risk to safety or health arising out of person activity at work. Okay, another objective of OSHA 1994 is promoting an occupational environment for person at work which is adapted to their psychological and psychological needs, and lastly provide the means whereby the associated occupational safety and health legislation may be progressively replaced by a system of regulation and approved industry code of practice operating in combination with the provision of this act designed to maintain or improve standard of safety and health Okay, it is clear about OSHA 1994. Okay, let's us continue our discussion with the role of OSHA legal requirement um, in business management. That you know there are some role of OSHA legal requirement in business management.
Based on my research, there are 7 roles of OSH legal requirement in business management. Firstly is OSH, Employer Safety and Health General Policy Statement, Inspection Regulation 1995. Second is OSH Safety and Health Committed Regulation 1996 SHC. OSH Classification, Packaging and Labeling of Hazardous Chemical Regulation 1997 CPL. OSH Safety and Health Officer Regulation 1997 SHO. OSH Use of Standard of Exposure of Chemical Hazardous to Health Regulation 2000 USE CHH. OSH Notification of Accident, Dangerous Occurrence, Occupational Poisoning and Occupational Disease Regulation 2004 NADOOPOD. So, let us discuss more its salient feature. There are many salient features about the OSHA Act in Malaysia. So, Sharmiza, what your opinion about salient feature about the OSHA and OSHA Act in Malaysia?
Okay, thank you Shara for the question. In my opinion, the salient feature of the Act include the establishment of the National Council of Occupational Safety and Health, the duty to formulate safety and health policy, the appointment of safety and health officer in certain classes of industry, the establishment of safety and health committee at the place of work, and the use of approved industry code of practice as evidence of compliance to safety and health provisions.
I think I have read about the National Councils of Occupational Safety and Health (NCOSH), National Council for Occupational Safety and Health, under the Ministry of Human Resources is a supreme body responsible for determining the state directions and policy in relation to occupational safety and health in Malaysia. It was established in 1995 in accordance with Section 8 of the Occupational Safety and Health and Safety Act 1994. The main objective of NCOSH establishment is a continuous effort by the government to ensure the safety, health and welfare of employees in the workplace is secure. Accordingly to the NCOSH has become more mature and always striving to improve occupational safety and health and safety in making safe and healthy work practices part of the Malaysian culture. This effort is based on 3 parties' process toward a cultural practice. Okay, Shaira, did you know about the duty to formulate safety and health policy?
Yes, I did read about the duty to formulate safety and health policy, which the duty can be divided by 3 sections under Section 16 OSH 1994, Section 30 OSH 1994 and Section 24 OSH 1994. I will explain about Section 16 and 30 OSH 1994 and Shamiza will be explained for Section 24. 94. I will explain about Section 16 and 30 OSH 1994 and Sharmiza will be explained for Section 24. According to the Section 16 of the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, it is a duty of the employers or a self-employed person to prepare a safety and health policy. Aside from preparing such as policy, they must also update it as often as necessary. That's mean if your company has a safety and health policy from 1990, it might be time for them to look through it again. Section 16 OSH. A point to note is that the OSH 1994 only apply to the list of listed industry in the first schedule of the Act. You can look at the full list on your own, but the more common one include manufacturing and construction to business service. A failure To have a safety and health policy will result in various step fine of your employers. This is provided for under Section 19, which state that aside from having a safety and health policy, the employers must also establish a safety and health committee at your workplace if he has 40 or more employees at the same workplace, or if the Director General of Occupational Safety and Health direct your employers to set up such as committee. The next section is Section 30/1994. Every employer shall establish a safety and health committee at the place of work in accordance with this section if there are 40 or more employers at the place of work, or the Director General direct the establishment of such as a committee at the place of works.
Okay, thank you Syarira. I will continue under section 24. Under section 24 of the OSHA 1994, employers have certain general duties that they will have to discharge. In a nutshell, there are as follows. The first one is to take reasonable care of your health and safety at work. This includes taking reasonable care of your colleagues' health and safety affected by your action or omission. It means that if your employer told you to stay out of the third floor corridor because a giant three-headed dog resides there and you still decide to jump down the third floor corridor, you could not blame your employer for failing to provide a safety work environment. The need to look out for the safety of your colleagues extends to the scenario where you fail to mop up the water you spilled, even though you know that the chances of someone sleeping in the puddle are very high. So, when inevitably your colleague does sleep in the puddle, you are committing an offence under OSHA. Okay. The second one is to cooperate with your employer. Cooperation with your employer is not standing in his way whenever he tries to discharge the duties given to him by the law. For example, if it is an obligation of your employer to keep all fire exits clear and you decide to leave your bag in the way despite being told of many times, you will be guilty of an offence. Last but not least, as an employer, you have to comply with the safety law as well. Okay, this duty stated that even though you are an employer, you are not exempt from complying with the rules that your employer has set out to ensure your safety and well-being. Okay, this may also include any Malaysian law enacted to ensure that you return home in one piece every night. Okay. The best example would be failing to carry out your duties under this section. That would be the very definition of non-compliance. Any failure to carry out the duties mentioned above could result you getting slapped with a maximum fine at 1,000 ringgit or getting imprisoned for a maximum of 3 months.
The appointment of safety and health officer in certain classes of industry can also be classified into 3 appointments of officer. First is officers' appointments, the appointment of independent inspecting body and certificate of authorization. Shaira may explain only 2 of the appointment, and will you continue to explain the rest of the appointment?
Yes, you may.
Okay, first, the appointment of officers can be divided into 3 officers. Okay, first, the appointment of officers can be divided into 3 appointments, which is first, the minister shall appoint a public officer to be the Director General of Occupational Safety and Health. In this act, referred to as the Director General to exercise the powers performing the function and discharging the duties assigned to him under this act. Second, the minister may appoint from among public officers such numbers of deputy director generals, director, deputy directors, assistant directors, and other occupational safety and health officers as necessary for this act. Third is that if for any reason the director general is unable to exercise the powers or discharge the duties,
of his office, the power shall be held and may be exercised, and the Deputy Director General shall discharge the duties. Fourth is subject to such limitation as may be prescribed by regulation made under Part 14 of this Act. An officer appointed under subsection 2 shall perform all the duties imposed and may exercise all the powers conferred upon the Director General under this Act, and every duty so performed and power so exercised shall be deemed to have been duly performed and exercised for this Act. Okay, next, the appointment of an independent inspecting body. First, the Director General may, as he deem fit, appoint a person or an independent inspecting body from any of the industry to advise or assist him in carrying out the object and purposes of this Act. Second, a person or an independent inspecting body appointed under subsection 1 shall be paid such allowance, fee or reimbursement as the Minister may determine. Third is an officer appointed under subsection 5(2) and a person or an independent inspecting body appointed under subsection 1 shall be subject to the control, direction and supervision of the Director General. And fourth is the Director General and all officers appointed under subsection 5(2) and a person or an independent inspecting body appointed under subsection 1 shall be deemed to be public servant within the meaning of the Penal Code Act 574. Okay, Syaira, you may continue to elaborate about the rest of the appointment.
Okay, Dalila and Shariza, there are two types of certificate of authorization. Firstly is the Director General shall issue to every officer appointed under this Act a certificate of authorization which shall be produced on demand to the occupier or any person in charge of the place of work which the officer intend to enter pursuant to this Act. Second is in the Director General issue, his certificate of authorization shall be issued by the Minister.
Okay, and lastly, the establishment of the Safety and Health Committee at the place of work is, the first one is the employer must establish a Safety and Health Committee if instructed to do so by the state mining engineer or requested by an employer at the mine, of course. And employer can also establish a Safety and Health Committee at the mine at any time without waiting for a request or instruction. Second one is, if the request comes from an employer, the employer must advise the employer and any safety and health representative at the mine within 21 days that the request has been agreed to, or that the request has been referred to the state mining engineer for review. Generally, the employer must establish the Safety and Health Committee within 3 months. However, if matter cannot be agreed to meet this time frame, the state mining engineer may grant an extension of time.
In conclusion, the Occupational Safety and Health OSHA require the protection of the employers from the workplace hazard causing injuries. The fact that workplace violence is grouped as one of the major causes of the workplace-related fatalities and injuries, more measures should be enacted to ensure safe working environments.
So, this is our discussion for occupational safety and health and its salient feature. To follow the Act and Regulation, we have to know each of the OSHA 1994 Act guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you.
Injuries that might be occur in the workplace if we didn't follow the Safety and Health Act 1994 that require us to follow the guideline to ensure that the safety and work environment is safe.
A workplace accident occurs every 7 seconds, according to the National Safety Council. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, says the construction industry is responsible for 1 out of every 5 work-related deaths in the United States. Let's see if we can use this video to bring more awareness to workplace accidents, their prevention, and what you could do if you experience one of these events. Slips and falls. Slips and falls are caused by a number of factors on the job. For example, if you work in a supermarket, you can slip or fall after a bottle of oil breaks open and spills on the floor. Other instances that cause slips and falls include tripping over cords, slipping on ice, tripping over debris, walking on unstable surfaces, or working in areas with improper lighting. No matter the cause of the slip or fall, they can all lead to critical injuries, including broken bones, soft tissue damage, spinal cord injuries, and more. It's an employer's responsibility to maintain safety standards. Managers should ensure spills are promptly cleaned up and floor areas inside and outside the building are slip and fall free. Areas that can't be attended to immediately need to be labeled. These accidents are preventable. When a facility manager is negligent, they put employees at risk for workplace accidents. Struck by accidents. Struck by accidents are one of the most common workplace accidents. Struck by injuries typically occur in careless and messy workplace environments. Workers can get struck by objects that fall, fly through the air, roll into them, or hit by swinging objects like a piece of machinery or a piece of wood. These workplace accidents can cause a number of injuries, including bone fractures, blunt force trauma injuries, eye injuries, head injuries, deep cuts and bruises, or even serious head injuries. To prevent these accidents, facility managers should post signs where falling debris can hit someone. They should ensure materials are stored and contained safely to avoid accidents. Managers should also assure workers wear proper eye protection, protective gear, and hard hats in unsafe environments. Struck against injuries. An employee who mistakenly strikes an object like a vehicle, wall, or cabinet is at risk for injury. Sometimes these accidents occur when a worker isn't paying attention to the task at hand. How many times has a pedestrian gotten struck by a car, taxi, biker, or another pedestrian while talking on their cell phone and not paying attention to where they're going? Imagine how much worse this can be in a construction zone. People can get a struck against injury if another employee pushes them into a wall or causes them to hit their head against a door or object when there's not enough room to walk around them, or when there's another object in the way, such as a pallet. As a result, workers can injure themselves anywhere on their bodies, including their heads, feet, neck, or face. If they're hit against the object hard enough, it can turn into a severe injury that may make them unable to work and cause serious medical issues. Have one of these common workplace accidents happen to you? You may be entitled to receive workers' compensation. As laws differ from state to state, speak to someone in the state where you work. If you live in the state of Massachusetts, you can get your questions answered from a Massachusetts-based law firm. Fitzgerald and Associates have helped accident victims secure maximum benefits and compensation for workplace injuries. If you've been injured